Not only is Old Brooklyn home of Drew Carey, it also might just be Cleveland's best kept secret. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why the Old Brooklyn neighborhood might be the best neighborhood in Cleveland. Hi, I'm Patty with Patty Sells CLE. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm talking about Old Brooklyn. And the first thing you need to know about Old Brooklyn is, where is Old Brooklyn? And why is it called Old Brooklyn? Well, it's part of Cleveland, and there is a Brooklyn city, Brooklyn, but Old Brooklyn is part of the actual city of Cleveland, and it is literally 5 minutes south of Cleveland. It is a 5-minute drive. You don't even need to get on the highway, depending on where you are in Old Brooklyn. If you go into downtown, Old Brooklyn has a nice little downtown area. You go zip, you're over there. My grandparents lived in Old Brooklyn, my aunt and uncle, for a long time too, off Valley Road, and we would take the highway to get downtown, but it was literally 2 seconds. My grandfather was a Cleveland judge, so he had to be close to the downtown area, and that was just, he was in his chambers in 5 minutes. So the location's great, and you can see from the map, it is east to west. It is from the Cuyahoga River to the city of Brooklyn, and then north to south, it is from the Brookside Park Valley down to Parma. So it's just north of Parma. And it's like the whole area of Old Brooklyn is 6.2 square miles. And it is the largest neighborhood in Cleveland. And that being said, it has over 30,000 people that live in the city. And it's getting to be very diverse. And a lot of young people have moved in, and it's got a large proportion of college graduates. The thing about Old Brooklyn is, everybody who knows Cleveland, they all know Ohio City, Tremont. Those are the areas that are the hot spots, and everybody, and now Gordon Square, everybody wants to live in those three neighborhoods. Or they want to move to Lakewood. And Lakewood used to be a spot which was a great place for a first-time home buyer. Well, Lakewood has just blown up, and a lot of people just can't afford Lakewood anymore. So Old Brooklyn has become the next best alternative for affordable housing for young families. So that is great, and it's really attracted a lot of young professionals. And it's also gotten very diverse, which is a good thing. So that being said, we have young families moving into this area. What kind of school systems do we have? Well, it's part of the Cleveland school systems. And we have Ben Franklin, Charles Mooney, Rhodes High School. Back in my education days, I used to own a tutoring company, and we have really large tutoring programs in Ben Franklin and Mooney, and even in Rhodes. Excellent teachers, but still, a lot of people don't want to send their kids to Cleveland schools. But there is St. Leo's, which is a Catholic school, Catholic grade school right there in Old Brooklyn. And then you have options to send your kids, to one of the private high schools, either Ignatius downtown, St. Ed's in Lakewood, or there's Holy Name and Padua, which is just south in Parma, which will be in my next video. So make sure to come back for that. The third thing you need to know about Old Brooklyn is it's home of the Cleveland Zoo. And I'm not going to do a video on the zoo. It is beautiful. It's wonderful. When my kids were young, my parents would say, hey, let's take your kids to the zoo. And I swear my mom would say, oh, gee, it's going to be 110 on Thursday. Why don't we go to the zoo on Thursday every year without fail? And it would be the most miserable experience of my life. And I couldn't wait to get to the monkey house because it was air conditioned. But they just announced yesterday, for the first time in 20 years, they have 3 tiger pubs that are did I say pubs? Tiger cubs. Hello, it's not even Friday yet. Tiger cubs that are out in the public, and you can see them. So make sure you get to the Cleveland Zoo. All right, number 4. This, I think, is one of the best things about Old Brooklyn, and it's something you don't really see because it's not out loud, but they're the ones making these great things happen in Old Brooklyn, and it's their community development center. When I was with a former broker, we had our staff meeting in Old Brooklyn at the Old Brooklyn Cheese Shop, and the CDC, they were really instrumental in getting them to open their business in Old Brooklyn. And boy, is that cheese shop cool. If I recall, it's one of the only ones outside of New York City that actually ages their own cheese, which I didn't know about. Hold on, I dropped my notes. I'm back. So the CDC is really active. The president, he was the one that gave his talk to us, and I was just blown away at all of the things they are doing and their plan. I was just reading, they came out last year with this 5-year growth plan of things they want to do to help grow the community. They have a lot of baby boomers and elderly people that live in Old Brooklyn. And they also have a lot of young families. So they're trying to, build that bridge and service both communities. So like I said, my grandparents lived there and my grandma's sister lived there in Old Brooklyn, and we would go there all the time, and they just loved living in that area. So this CDC has been really phenomenal and helping grow. They have farmers markets that they do in the summertime. They put movies out in the park in the summertime. They have festivals in the summer, cool stuff. And they've also been really instrumental. And as I said, with the cheese shop, bringing in new shops. They have a winery in Old Brooklyn. What? In the city? Yep, it's called Vino Veritas Cellars. And we'll see it, we drive by it. And I've never been to it, but I'm dying to go. And you can have an event there. There's an outside area. They do get their grapes from California, but who doesn't? But they do make their own wine. And you can have an event there, you can have a wine tasting there, you can have a party there. Pretty cool place right there on Memphis Road. So you got to check that out. There's also all kinds of new, there's a creative cafe. It's like a little art gallery that's coming in. Not really any fine dining that I can think of, but there's lots of bars. Like when I was in high school, no, I was 21, we would go to the Pearl Tavern. We get these fishbowl things full of beer. So lots of cool little bars in Old Brooklyn. I don't know if I've mentioned it in my other videos like Ohio City, Tremont, and Gordon Square, but the Metro Parks, I believe they're in charge of it. They started this. They're connecting 100 miles of trails and paths from New Philadelphia all the way to Tremont. So you can literally, even if you're in the city of Cleveland, you can hop on your bike, put the kids in a stroller, take a walk, and walk these trails all the way through. And one of these days I'm going to do it, but I have to get my husband a bicycle first because he is a runner. So that towpath trail is really, really cool. And last but not least, and this is your bonus, number 6, housing. And that's why everybody checks out my channel. What's it like to live in these Cleveland neighborhoods? What can I afford? What will my money buy me? Well, let me tell you, this is why people are coming to Old Brooklyn. They can afford it. They might not be able to afford a $300,000 starter home in Lakewood, but about $150,000 will get you a pretty nice starter home in Old Brooklyn. In fact, for sale right now, here's my list. Old Brooklyn, most expensive house is $229. And guess what? That's a to-be built house, a brand new house. I drove by the lots. They're on nice streets. The $229 for a brand new home. How can you beat that? But the average price is what I'm looking at. I mean, most of these houses are almost $85,000. I just sold a house on Woburn for about $85,000 just over a month ago. And he bought it for his kids, and they're friends of my kids, and they are loving living in Old Brooklyn. So it needs some work, sure. It's going through revitalization, just like every other neighborhood in Cleveland that's close to the city, which is great for Old Brooklyn because some of the streets are a little run down, but they bought this house, they're fixing it up, they're gonna live there, they love it. There's a neighborhood in Old Brooklyn called South Hills. It's beautiful. Obviously those are going to be a little bit higher, probably closer to the 200 mark, but you get those beautiful brick Tudors, beautiful tree-lined streets. It's absolutely gorgeous. A lot of cops, firemen like to live in Old Brooklyn. We used to have a law where if you worked for the city, you had to live in the city. That's why I grew up in West Park. Well, that's why a lot of my friends lived in Cleveland. We didn't have a choice. That's no longer a law. However, many people love it. The law changed. You don't have to live in the city anymore. Guess what? They stayed. They're invested in the community. Their kids go to schools there. Their friends are there. Their family's there. They've stayed. So South Hills is a great, great neighborhood. in Old Brooklyn. And honestly, for $150,000, you can get yourself a pretty nice house. So that being said, let's get in the car and check out Old Brooklyn. around Old Brooklyn. If you like this video, just do me a favor and hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. And if you want to check out some pros and cons about living in Cleveland, check out this video right here. See you next time.